And you hear it over and over. When severe weather hits, get to your safe place. And if you live in a mobile home, get out and move to a safer, more sturdy building.
But what if there are no shelters close to where you live? Andrew James has more in his I-Team Extra Seeking Shelter.
We focused on Elmore County, where there are 21 safer place shelters. Now, these are places you can go during a tornado watch if you don't feel safe in your home. But unfortunately, that number does not cover the whole county, and some people are left with nowhere to go, exposing what may be a bigger problem across the state. Wetumpka on January 19th, Lee County on March 3rd.
Picked our house up, flipped it over. Everything was on top of us.
Titus on March 14th and Troy on April 14th. It's already been a very active severe weather season in Alabama.
There's no place real close for shelter other than your home.
It's a scary reality for Debbie Lance. She says she feels safe in her home near Lake Martin, but knows others aren't so lucky.
There's more homes being built now, but there are quite a few mobile homes. You know, it's the way people like to live.
The EMA director says that here in the Red Hill community, the closest safer place is 15 minutes away. That means for people who live here, they'll have to get inside of their car, and then they have to drive 15 minutes down the road to get to the closest safer place, which is here at the Eclectic Police Department. EMA Director Keith Barnett tells me the Safer Place shelters open during a tornado watch. These are not long-term shelters, but places for people to go if they don't feel safe at home.
Buildings that are much more sound structurally. Some of them have basements, but they are a much safer place for people that don't feel secure in their home.
All of the safer places are listed on the Elmore County EMA website with an interactive map. If the icon is red, the shelter is closed. Green means it's open. You'll notice there's not one near Lake Martin.
Out here in the country, there's not really a lot of safe spots.
Keith Murchison lives down the road from where an EF2 tornado hit Titus and surrounding areas in Elmore County. He tells me he left his home because he doesn't think it's safe during a tornado.
This is a wood frame structure, and in a tornado, it could just be devastated.
This is another part of the county that has no safer place up until now.
After the storm hit, it kind of becomes even more real.
New Home Baptist Church is the newest safer place. Pastor Matt Nixon says he and the congregation knew they had to answer the call after seeing the damage in their community. He showed me the basement, which will serve as a shelter when it's needed.
We rely on something greater, and then he's given us this building, he's blessed this church with it. We want to use it for whatever we can use it for.
And EMA Director Barnett hopes New Home Baptist Church is the first of many new safer places. He's asking anyone willing to open their building during severe weather to contact his office.
You're willing to allow people into your building, open it up when there's severe weather, be there to support them. You know, we're willing to talk to you.
And if you're interested in opening a safer place shelter, the EMA director will come look at your building to make sure it is indeed a safer place. And since these are all run by volunteers, Barnett tells me that sometimes these shelters aren't able to open during severe weather, once again leaving people with nowhere to go. Back to you. After my first story aired, I heard from people in South Montgomery County who say they don't know where to go during severe weather. So we've shifted our focus and we're still trying to figure out who is responsible for providing shelters. When severe weather hits, seconds can mean the difference between life and death. For many people in Alabama, access to shelters can also be a game changer. But who is responsible for these shelters?
If you're looking for a single entity and the government to take care of all the problems, I don't think that's how we work in this day and age.
That's from State EMA Director Brian Hastings.
To try to tell everybody to come to a shelter here, 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 you don't know where everybody's going to go.
That's Montgomery County's EMA Director Christina Thornton. So we went even more local to Montgomery County Commissioner Doug Singleton.
Outside the churches and maybe some of the local businesses here, we really don't have a place.
It seems no one person or organization is responsible for providing storm shelters. Instead, all three tell me it's a shared responsibility.
People need to get together. They need to get together with the government and see what we together need to provide for our community to take care of ourselves when disaster strikes.
The Elmore County EMA operates a Safer Place program. These are places you can go during a tornado watch if you don't feel safe in your home. They're opened and operated by community members, meaning sometimes they can't open. But EMA Director Christina Thornton says that type of program isn't the best fit for Montgomery County.
I don't have keys to every church. I don't have keys to every community center. So like I said, I would like to see the communities do it.
Thornton says shelters aren't an issue in more populated areas in and around the city of Montgomery. City facilities and community centers will open when they're needed.
Prepare ahead of a storm. Don't wait till the sirens are going off to call and try to find a location.
That is key, making sure you know where to go at a moment's notice. But things get more complicated when you're outside the city limits.
Out here we probably are underdeveloped on having places to go for people.
A major concern in Montgomery County is the unincorporated communities like here in Snowden. County Commissioner Doug Singleton tells me that out here, there aren't many community storm shelters readily available.
Our biggest concern for Montgomery County and the Commission is to provide safety for our residents. We're willing to do anything we can to provide that.
One idea Commissioner Singleton has is to turn schools into shelters. The county purchased the old South Montgomery Academy building in Grady, which can be used as a shelter when needed. But even that presents problems.
One of my concerns about this community storm shelter is that people will have to get in their car and drive to the shelter.
If a tornado is on the ground, a car is one of the last places you'll want to be.
Heaven forbid that the people do make it to the shelter and the shelter's full and now they're stuck outside.
There is no one-size-fits-all solution. Ultimately, it comes down to what works best in each individual community across Alabama.
You need to handle this in your little close-knit communities. It's not something we can take over. I can't take over a building and say I want to use this as a shelter or a safer place.
And another option is for families to purchase personal storm shelters. You can apply for grants to help with the cost. If not that, figure out the closest storm shelter to you so you're ready for severe weather. Back to you.
Thank you, Andrew. And now is the time for you to find out the setup in your county. Does your EMA operate shelters, and are they close to your home? Something to think about. If not, where will you go the next time severe weather hits?